Oh, what a gorgeous day. I love the summer, I love this view. Oh, I don't know what video to make though. That's the annoying part, you see. Doggy, I need your help. I don't know what to do, doggy. I need some ideas for a new video. Oh, come here, baby girl. Oh. Oh, what on earth do I look for you? That's the question. Hey, what's over there? Oh, no, sorry. Oh, come here, you. Right, iPad. What were you reviewing today? Yeah! If I had to name 3 games that define my childhood, it would be Sonic Heroes, the Tom and Jerry fighting game, and last but not least, we have Rayman 3 for the Game Boy Advance and the original Xbox. Now, Rayman was the absolute shit back then, and today I'm going to be reviewing the series. So without further ado, let's begin. Michel Ancel, a director from the French company Ubisoft behind the highly acclaimed Beyond Good and Evil, began development on a prototype for Rayman, originally on the Super Nintendo that would have been a co-op platformer, but due to memory constraints, never saw the light of day. So development started anew on another more powerful system, but not one you may think. It was the Atari Jaguar. Nobody bought it, by the way. As time went on, more people jumped to help develop and finish the game. This was around the time the compact disc, known as the CD, were becoming more popular, as they were cheaper, could hold more memory, and were able to contain higher quality audio. So Ubisoft decided that they would make their new project as a launch title for the Sony PlayStation to take advantage of the CD-based hardware. And in 1995, they finally did it. Rayman was released for the PlayStation, Sega Saturn, and the Atari Jaguar. Yeah! Our story begins with the narrator telling us that Rayman's peaceful world is maintained by an orb known as the Great Protoon, but one day, the main villain of the game, known as
the evil Mr. Dark.
Oh, that's a good one, Ubisoft. Good one, Rayman. But really, what is it?
The evil Mr. Dark.
I'm sorry, what was it again?
The evil Mr. Dark.
You're not joking, are you?
Mr. Dark.
What's next? Dr. Bad? Emperor Evil? Although I wouldn't mind Dr. Bad giving me one hell of a good time, if you know what I'm just saying. Anyway, the evil Mr. Fart steals the Protoons and captures all the inhabitants of the land. Shortly after, we find Rayman relaxing in his cozy hammock on a tropical island, quickly assuring the narrator that he's up to the challenge of saving the world.
No problem.
Yeah, we're only gonna review the bad shit.
We'll get to that, Ernie. But until that time comes, I have a lot of positives to say about this game. I mean, just look at it. This is a gorgeous looking game, with stunning cartoony graphics which still hold up really well today. For an early PS1 game, this is nothing short of impressive. And the music, I absolutely adore the music. If I ever had a top 5 list for like the best PS1 soundtracks, this would be on number 1. There are just so many good songs in this game that are just so atmospheric, and it just fits every single mood. These are some of my favourites. And last but not least, we have the final boss music. Now, Mario and Sonic, they have those like classic chip tunes for the final boss. But in Rayman, It sounds like an actual band's playing.
Me and my girl. We want to talk about the bad stuff, dude. Come on. Let's do it.
Hey, I'm not finished yet. So it looks good, and it sounds good. But it's time to look at the most important part of any game. The gameplay. Or gameplay, whatever. When the game starts in the Dream Forest, all you are able to do is walk and jump. But upon completing the first level, you meet Batilla the Fairy, who gives us the ability to punch, even though we already have fists. Before I digress, we enter the next level where the game introduces new mechanics with the plum. Wherever you see a plum vine, you can punch it to send it in the direction you want. You can even drop it on enemies and use them as a platform for goodies. Or you can punch them towards the water and keep afloat. There's this one boss I just find stupidly hilarious. It's basically just a mosquito which will zoom across different parts of the screen to try and attack Rayman, punch it a few times, and it just becomes friends with Rayman. Imagine just meeting a stranger and punching him in the face and you're like, yeah, we're good friends now. For the last two power-ups, Batilla the Fairy will give us the ability to hang. What this means is that Rayman will now be able to grab ledges and jump up from them. And lastly, Batilla will give you the power-up to swing from pink rings. And she'll tell us that the gloomy part of your quest will start now.
Foreshadowing, by the way, guys.
And although this game doesn't really have much in terms of story-wise, how it's just, there's a bad guy, go beat him up, this game more than makes up for it with its personality. So there's this guy in the Dream Forest where he shoots with a gun, and when he shoots, there's a bullet in it, and what comes out is like a hand that's whacking a hammer. That's just crazy. How can you think of something that ingenious? Have you ever imagined what a drum would look like with some scuba flippers? Well, here you go. Not only that, but there's a lot of variety in the level design too. You have a forest, you have Bandland, which is filled with musical instruments such as drums or trumpets. You have the Blue Mountains, you have Picture City, which is filled with arts and crafts such as rubbers, pencils and ink. The Cave of Scops, and the Candy Chateau, which is the final level in the game, filled with sweets. So, here's my final verdict. Overall, Rayman is a fantastic game with excellent platforming, phenomenal music, and just lovely graphics. And I would highly recommend it for anyone. It is a blast to play from beginning to end. Thank you. Now, without further ado, let's move on to Rayman 2.
That's not it. You're lying, dude. Come on. Admit it. Come back and tell everyone the truth.
We really have to do this, don't we? Because it's a game that looks like it's catering to children, you'd think it'd be a fun and easy platformer to breeze through, right? You are wrong. Very, very wrong. If the first half of this game is challenging but fair, then I'd say the second half is just challenging but fuck you. I love these cricket enemies in Bandland. They're faster than you, and I feel like there's only one frame that they're not invisible for you to punch them. There's a section where they expect you to use ice physics with small platforms over bottomless pits, and screw this auto-scrolling part. It insta-kills me if even so much as one pixel of Rayman touches the left of the screen. 3 lives by default isn't enough for this trial and error bull manure. Also, if you lose all your lives, you better have one of your 5 continues, because if you lose all of them, your ass is going all the way back to the beginning of the entire game. I would understand this design for NES games, because there were no battery saves back then. But at least then, the games on there were shorter, so it allowed you to master your skills. We're looking at a 24-hour long game here, which is on a console with memory card saves, I might add. I'm just telling you, before you get this game, expect to get kicked in the tendies countless times. I don't really understand why this game is so hard. Whether it be if the game was rushed for it to be on a day one PS1 release, or if the devs didn't really know how to make 2D platformers. But the thing is, they knew. They implemented a 99 live cheat code for you to get through the game. I do not think anyone is able to get through this game with only just 3 lives. But if you were able to do it, more power to you. Also, I would highly recommend using this cheat code, because you're not actually cheating. You are still progressing through the levels as intended, but it just makes things easier, and it doesn't force you to go all the way back to the beginning with this stupid artificial difficulty.
Now can I talk about the bad shit then?
Fine.
The bosses in this game can be either too easy or too hard. They're just terrible, all of the bosses. You think Yellow Devil's that bad? Yo, you should see Space Mama. She is actually the worst boss I have fought in my entire life. So she does this one attack, where she uses bins, and you have to start crawling the moment she brings all these bins. It's just dumb, man. Also, unlike you, Evan, I've been playing the DSi version.
Oh really? What's different about it then?
It gives you 30 continues, you're able to have up to 10 health, and they give you more lives. So they made it a little bit more easier. However, to balance it out, they've increased the base knockback, which I absolutely hate knockback in any kind of game. And they decreased Rayman's invincibility frames. Do you know how many versions of Rayman they've released now?
No, how many, Ernie?
First off, there's Rayman for iOS, Rayman Designer, where you get to create your own Rayman levels, Rayman Jr., which is an educational game, and Rayman Gold.
Wow, that's a lot of versions of Rayman.
Yeah, I know, and I've seen Rayman do that pose so many times, it looked like he's gonna come to my house and strangle me.
He kinda does. Thanks for putting that horrifying image into my head. Actually, Ernie, I have a question myself.
Sure, ask away.
How exactly do you unlock the final level in this game?
You know all the Electoon cages in each stage?
Yeah?
Well, there's 6 in every level. And you have to free every Electoon in every level to access the final boss.
God, that sounds tiring. I'm just gonna move to the final verdict. So, my final verdict. I really like Rayman, despite the rage-inducing moments I had, and I think it's a must-have for the PlayStation. And it's an important game too, considering it's his first entry. I gotta say, I do have a bit of a soft spot for it, because Rayman is one of my favourite video game characters of all time. And even though this game is still hard, I think Rayman is sick.
He said it! He said it!
Anyway, I've talked too much about the original Rayman. It's time to move on to the next game, Rayman 2: The Great Escape.